Today we are going to be talking about slicing, but before we do that, we need to understand string indexing, which will make slicing easier to understand. So you can see I have a variable called letters, which contains the alphabet. So to print various letters, you can reference a letter with its index value in the string. Let me give you some examples. Okay, so let me run that. Okay, so you get the letter D, Z, and A. So now you see the letters and you may be a bit confused as to why the letter D and Z are referenced by 3 and 25. It's because all the indexing in Python starts at 0. In programming, all counting starts from 0. So you can see 3, so you got 0, 1, 2, 3. So index 3 is the letter D and index 25 is Z. As you can see, it's displayed there. And index 0 is A. Okay, so now I'm going to display the alphabet one letter at a time using a loop and step through the letters variable with an index. Okay, so let me run that. Okay, so there you see it's printed out all the letters, one character at a time, using the index of that letter. And you can see the end equal to an empty string overrides the new line character, and therefore it's printed all on a new line. So now that you understand indexing, let's move on to slicing. First of all, you must understand that a string is a sequence type along with lists and tuples. So the characters follow each other in a sequence. A slice has a start, a stop, and a step value. Let's start with the start and stop values, and I will come back to the step value. Let me show you some examples. Okay, so there you can see it slices the letters variable and it only gives you the first 6 characters. Okay, so you can see letters A to F. That means it starts at 0 and goes up to 6, but not including the index 6. Okay, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't include 6. Okay, so here's a second example. Here it starts at 3 and goes up to but not including 5. So let's run that. You'll see the output gives back DE. Okay, so now you can see this will give you the same result as our first example because you don't have to include a start value. If you don't, 0 is assumed, but you have to include the colon, otherwise it would be interpreted that you want one value at index 6. Okay, let's run that example. Now you can see there's no stop value, but there's a start value. So it'll start at position 6 and it'll run all the way to the end of the sequence, which is then Z. And as you can see, it starts at the letter G and it goes all the way to Z. So leaving out the stop value will then go, basically tells Python that I want to start here and go all the way to the end. Now let's add in the step value. Okay, so we can run that. Right, so this will start at the beginning and go to the end, but only give you every second letter because of the step value. So basically this is saying start at the beginning, which is 0. It doesn't have a stop value, so go all the way to the end, and then, but only give me every second letter. Okay. You could do this by also excluding the start value, and it'll give you the same result. Okay, so having a negative step, as it is here, will reverse the string. So it will start from Z and go all the way to A. Now let's use negative indexing. Using negative numbers means you count from the end of the string to find your start and stop values. It does not mean it counts backwards or goes in the opposite direction. It just means if you want a number from the end of the string, you don't have to count from the beginning of the string. You can start from the back. Let me show you an example. The start value is minus 20 and the stop value is minus 2. So what that means is counts from the back and it goes to position minus 20, okay, which is all the way up at G. So it counts backwards 20 and it goes to the stop value of minus 2, okay, which is up to the X because it's not including. So it'll go up to X. So it'll only show that portion of the string, as you can see in the output there. Then the next example again starts at minus 20 as the start value and then goes to position 24, a positive 24, which means it now will count from this side, but it's the exact same position as minus 2. So therefore the two strings are the same. Okay, so since lists are also sequences, all the above applies to lists. Let me show you an example of using a list of numbers from 0 to 26. Okay, so there I have a list of numbers 0 to 25 because range also doesn't include the last number. Okay, so there's 26 numbers there. Okay, so now we should have the exact same output as what we had with the letters. Okay, so let's see that in action. Right, so there above is the letters, and here is the output. So there is the 1 to 6, I mean 0 to 6, the position 3 to 5, going without the stop value, 6 to the end, uh, things going up in twos, which is this one here, the counting going up in twos, reversing the string or reversing the list. There, it reverses the list, and then the negative indexing example here. Now let's see an example of how slicing can be useful. Okay, so here I have a string. I've defined a string with all these different sort of separators, comma, colon, semicolon, space, comma, and a semicolon. Let's print it out. Okay, so there's my string. So let's say now I want to split that string into a list. I would need to change the separators to one value like a comma so that it can be split. So let me show you an example of how we can use slicing to achieve this. Okay, so there I've used slicing to start at position 1, which is the first comma, and then every fourth one, and it gives me all the separators in that string. Okay, so there it shows my new string after I've changed all the separators into a comma. Now I'm going to split the string into a list. And I'm going to specify the comma to split on. And it will give me now, show me a list. There we go, all nicely separated. Okay guys, that's the end of the slicing tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Cheers.